Hi, Becca C. Smith here, and today I'm going to talk about the method I use for research before I even start writing a TV pilot. Step 1, know your genre. You should definitely know what genre your TV pilot is going to be before you even get started. Step 2, make a list of 3 TV shows that are similar and fit your genre. For example, if you're going to write a high fantasy, something like Game of Thrones or Shadow and Bone or The Witcher, all 3 are very successful in both popularity but also in critical reviews. If you're writing a serious mystery, something like Criminal Minds, NCIS, CSI, but if you're writing a comedy mystery, it would be a much different list, like Psych or Monk or My Life is Murder, or even sci-fi mysteries like Lost or Fringe or The 4400. You totally get what I'm saying, but basically pick the show that is the best fit for your own original idea. It's never going to be exact, and that's totally fine. We're not interested in copying. We're interested in breaking down what makes a TV pilot successful. So step 3, watch and break down the 3 TV pilots you picked earlier. For the sake of this video, let's say you're writing a high fantasy. We use the examples Game of Thrones, Shadow and Bone, and The Witcher. And Game of Thrones is especially good if you're doing a multiple character project. What I do is I watch the pilot and write down how many minutes each scene with each group of characters lasts, because 1 minute a page equals 1 minute of real time. So here's what I got for all 3 pilots. With Game of Thrones, we have a 7-minute opening introducing White Walkers and the Wall. This is good to know. If you have a long arc in your story of the big bad, they chose to make this the hook before we met any character of importance. So this is nice because it lets you know you don't always have to start with your main character in your pilot. Sometimes you can start with plot or the dangers of what's to come. The rest, I marked the minutes on how much time was spent on each group of characters. I categorized it as the Starks with the Lannister and Baratheons, and then the Targaryen and Dothraki. As you can see, they bounce back and forth pretty evenly, but it's the times that surprised me. In my head, I thought Daenerys was in a lot more of the pilot, but she was in a total of 13 minutes out of 58. The majority of the pilot was the Starks and the Lannister Baratheons, which makes total sense since the heart and thread of the show is the Stark family. So moving on to Shadow and Bone, it's heavily focused on Alina's journey at 28 minutes, but the Six of Crows crew had a full 18 minutes. But as you can see from the breakdown, it was also evenly distributed, just shorter scenes for the thieves. And finally, The Witcher. Again, evenly ping-ponging back and forth between Witcher and Ciri, and weirdly very close in times as well, with 33 minutes to The Witcher and 25 minutes to Ciri. Yennefer isn't even in the pilot. Yennefer. So that helped me realize with fantasy, you can introduce big characters in the second episode. You don't have to shove every big character into the pilot. That's actually huge. Now, what do I do with this information? I take the story I want to turn into a pilot and I see if any of these 3 will work best for it. So, if I had a huge cast of characters, I'd probably go with Game of Thrones, the structure of Game of Thrones. But if I clearly had 2 POVs, if I decided if I wanted one character to be more focused on than the other, I'd probably pick Shadow and Bone structure. But if I wanted it to be more even, I would go with the Witcher structure. And then if none of these work at all for you, then I'd brainstorm another set of pilots and do the exact same thing with those and break them down. With TV, structure really matters. I'm sure there are examples where the creators took a more artistic approach, but those are few and far between. Structure helps tell the story in a way that keeps people coming back episode after episode. It teaches you to spread out the reveals and twists, but also gives you time to really develop characters and the world you've created for them, whether that be fantasy or a crime drama. In fact, this method was vital to me most recently when I co-wrote a comedy mystery pilot with my friend Marnie. Neither one of us had written very many mysteries. So we really needed to break down exactly how many red herrings, misleads, and reveals there were in a comedy mystery show. We watched and broke down the pilots that I mentioned before, Psych, Monk, and My Life is Murder. It really helped to watch the pilots though, because we found that the mystery itself took a kind of back seat, since the pilot wanted the viewers to connect to the characters, their lives, their relationships with other characters, and of course the humor, more than the mystery itself. The mystery was there, but it felt like they were saying, yes, this is a mystery show, and yes, we have a mystery in this pilot, and we promise every episode after this one will be mainly focused on the mystery. But let's get you to love the characters first, otherwise no one will want you to see them solve another mystery. This really helped us because we were so hyper-focused on not having the mystery aspect be weak. We realized that we could have a strong mystery, but it could be solved in less steps than it would in a typical episode in the future, if you're that lucky. Our focus needed to be on the characters, the comedy, and really creating a rapport and chemistry between the two main characters that viewers would want to keep going back to. So we gave ourselves the freedom to have moments that brought out the personalities of the characters rather than stick to a paint-by-numbers mystery plot. So that's it. This is the method I use before I even start writing a pilot. I also use this method for feature screenplays as well, taking a movie in the same genre, breaking it down by minutes, etc., etc. It really helps to hone down my idea and keep the story moving forward in a compelling way. So I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if you have any methods or tricks you use when writing a pilot or screenplay. I love learning new methods and ways to outline and break things down. It's literally my favorite part of the process. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.